2 Italian barks, which had been close alongside at daylight, I saw long after I had anchored, passing up the African side of the strait. The Spray had sailed them both hull down before she reached Tarifa. So far as I know, the Spray beat everything going across the Atlantic except the steamers. All was well, but I had forgotten to bring a bill of health from Horta, and so when the fierce old port doctor came to inspect, there was a row. That, however, was the very thing needed. If you want to get on well with a true Britisher, you must first have a deuce of a row with him. I knew that well enough, and so I fired away shot after shot as best I could. "Well, yes," the doctor admitted at last. "Your crew are healthy enough, no doubt, but who knows the diseases of your last port?" A reasonable enough remark. "We ought to put you in the fort, sir," he blustered, "but never mind. Free pratique, sir. Shove off, coxswain." And that was the last I saw of the port doctor. But on the following morning, a steam launch, much longer than the Spray, came alongside, or as much of her as could get alongside, with compliments from the senior naval officer, Admiral Bruce, saying there was a berth for the Spray at the Arsenal. This was around at the new mole. I had anchored at the old mole, among the native craft, where it was rough and uncomfortable. Of course I was glad to shift, and did so as soon as possible, thinking of the great company the Spray would be in, among battleships such as the Collingwood, Balfleur, and Cormorant, which were at that time stationed there, and on board all of which I was entertained later most royally. "Put it there," as the Americans say, was the salute I got from Admiral Bruce when I called at the Admiralty to thank him for his courtesy of the berth and for the use of the steam launch which towed me into dock. "About the berth, it is all right if it suits, and we'll tow you out when you're ready to go. But say, what repairs do you want? Ahoy the Hebe, can you spare your sailmaker? The Spray wants a new jib. Construction and repair there. Will you see to the Spray? Say, old man, you must have knocked the devil out of her coming over alone in 29 days. But we'll make it smooth for you here." Not even Her Majesty's ship, the Collingwood, was better looked after than the Spray at Gibraltar. Later in the day came the hail, "Spray ahoy! Mrs. Bruce would like to come on board and shake hands with the Spray. Will it be convenient today?" "Very," I joyfully shouted. On the following day, Sir F. Carrington, at the time Governor of Gibraltar, with other high officers of the garrison, and all the commanders of the battleships, came on board and signed their names in the Spray's logbook. Again there was a hail, "Spray ahoy! Hello! Commander Reynolds's compliments. You are invited on board HMS Collingwood, at home at 4:30 p.m., not later than 5:30 p.m. I had already hinted at the limited amount of my wardrobe, and that I could never succeed as a dude. "You are expected, sir, in a stovepipe hat and a claw-hammer coat." "Then I can't come." "Dash it, come in what you have on, that is what we mean." "Aye, aye, sir." The Collingwood's cheer was good, and had I worn a silk hat as high as the moon, I could not have had a better time or been made more at home. An Englishman, even on his great battleships, unbends when the stranger passes his gangway, and when he says at home, he means it. That one should like Gibraltar would go without saying. How could one help loving so hospitable a place? Vegetables twice a week, and milk every morning came from the palatial grounds of the Admiralty. "Spray ahoy!" would hail the Admiral. "Spray ahoy!" "Hello!" "Tomorrow is your vegetable day, sir." "Aye, aye, sir." I rambled much about the old city, and a gunner piloted me through the galleries of the rock as far as a stranger is permitted to go. There is no excavation in the world for military purposes at all approaching these of Gibraltar, in conception or execution. Viewing the stupendous works, it became hard to realize that one was within the Gibraltar of his little old Morse geography. Before sailing, I was invited on a picnic with the governor, the officers of the garrison, and the commanders of the warships at the station. And a royal affair it was. Torpedo boat number 91, going 25 knots, carried our party to the Morocco shore and back. The day was perfect, too fine, in fact, for comfort on shore, and so no one landed at Morocco. Number 91 trembled like an aspen leaf as she raced through the sea at top speed. Sub-Lieutenant Boucher, apparently a mere lad, was in command, and handled his ship with the skill of an older sailor. On the following day, I lunched with General Carrington, the governor, at Line Wall House, which was once the Franciscan convent. In this interesting edifice are preserved relics of the 14 sieges which Gibraltar has seen. On the next day, I supped with the Admiral at his residence, the Palace, which was once the convent of the mercenaries. At each place and all about, I felt the friendly grasp of a manly hand, that lent me vital strength to pass the coming long days at sea. I must confess that the perfect discipline, order, and cheerfulness at Gibraltar were only a second wonder in the great stronghold. The vast amount of business going forward caused no more excitement than the quiet sailing of a well-appointed ship in a smooth sea. No one spoke above his natural voice, save a boatswain's mate now and then. The Honourable Horatio J. Sprague, the venerable United States Consul at Gibraltar, honoured the Spray with a visit on Sunday, August 24, and was much pleased to find that our British cousins had been so kind to her.